Welcome in guys, Matt here from Total Drummer, and we're going to learn a beginner drum lesson super fast. We're going to get straight into it and get you drumming in about 5 minutes, so let's go. Okay, so the beat we're going to learn today is in a majority of songs that you would hear on mainstream radio, and I'm talking about pop, rock, funk, country. Most of what you hear is either this beat or based upon this beat. So it's your first lesson, it's your first drum beat. We're going to learn it quick, but it's also possibly the most important drum beat you ever learn. Now we're going to use 3 limbs for this. We're going to use right arm, right leg. And we're going to learn one limb at a time. We're going to introduce one at a time anyway. So the first thing we're going to do is the hi-hat. So we're going to play 8th notes on the hi-hat here. So we count those 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so take as long as you need on each stage so you can get super comfortable before you introduce the second limb. But now, if you've got the sheet music, you'll see on the second line, we're going to introduce one more thing. By the way, if you haven't got the sheet music, click the link below. You can go and grab that. It's totally free. It just gives you something visual. You can print it off, take it away, and spend time really learning this. So second line down, we are introducing the snare drum. So that's written on the second gap down. And that comes in on beats 2 and beats 4. So this is the most common placement that gives us our backbeat on the snare. We still keep the hi-hats in there, doing all of the 8th notes, but we've got a snare now on beats 2 and 4. You've probably noticed for a right-handed drummer, we cross our hands. We have the right hand on the hi-hat and the left hand's going to come underneath now to hit the snare. So on beats 2 and 4, you hit both together. So the count for this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright guys, we're nearly there already. The last element is quite difficult because we're going to bring a third limb in. So this is the bass drum with the right foot. It does take it to a new level now, trying to coordinate all your limbs. It's the challenge unique to drummers, and that's why we're probably the best human beings on the planet. That's a scientific fact. So we're going to bring the bass in, and it's on beats 1 and beats 3. So remember the snare was on 2 and 4. The bass is going to be on 1 and 3. So the very first note is hi-hat and bass drum. So the hi-hats are still going to run right throughout the beat. So this is where the brain gets a bit confused. It doesn't know if it's playing the bass or the snare or just hi-hat. But we can actually split this bar into half because the second half just repeats. So there's 4 notes to learn. So the first note, the first beat we play is bass drum and hi-hat. Then there's a hi-hat on its own. So we always do the hi-hat on its own between the basses and snares. The third note is the snare and hi-hat. And the 4th note is the hi-hat. So that takes us up to 1 and 2 and then it all starts again. So we come back in with the bass drum. So the way you should learn this is super slow. Don't try and run before you can walk. You know, it's the biggest mistake I see beginners make. In fact, all drummers, I do it as well. I have to tell myself off. If you go slow, this is easy. If you go fast, it's difficult. You'll get frustrated. You might even give up before you've had a chance to become an awesome drummer. So please go really slow, break it down, take your time, learn it properly. Once you've committed it to memory and all the muscle memory takes over, you won't have to think about it. Then you can speed it up. But just don't rush to that point. Take your time, okay? So the count for this is going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that goes bass and snare and bass and snare and. But as I say, go slow. I will learn this literally. If something's difficult, I'll go bass and hi-hat. And I'll talk myself through it. Hi-hat. Snare and hi-hat. Hi-hat. So I'll go that slow to get it. So just go at your own speed. It's not competition. Check it out on the kit. That was it, guys. The first drum beat, but as I mentioned, the most important drum beat you will ever learn. So take your time, get super comfortable with it. If you like this, hit subscribe. There's loads more coming. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get told when more are coming. Also, below this video is a link. If you want to start a pretty full-on, very comprehensive beginner's drum course, the link is below this. You can start it for free. And also, you might like to learn some beginner fills to go with your beats. So hit the link above for that as well, and I'll see you there.